Sup Swaggets! So I just saw Terminator Genisys today, and I thought it was pretty okay.
Okay.
Wasn't the worst thing ever. Definitely wasn't the worst Terminator movie. It definitely was not the best. So, while I was on the way home, I thought to myself, it could be way better. It could have been awesome. It could have been the next Terminator 2. So, without further ado, I present to you what Terminator Genisys should have been. Bum 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 ba-dum. Bum 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 ba-dum. Ba-dum bum ba-dum. Ba-dum bum ba-dum. Okay, so we open with young Sarah Connor. As described in the movie, a Terminator, a liquid metal Terminator, comes to destroy her when she's a child. She swims away and Arnie rescues her. We'd see how Sarah Connor grows up with the Terminator. Obviously, probably through montage, but still we'd see how she develops a relationship with the Terminator. She learns from it, she grows with it, and then we transition to the war. The war is just as epic as it was in the movie we got. If there was one thing I really liked, it was opening few minutes of the war, because that showed the real epicosity that was not there in Terminator Salvation. Anyway, we'd see the brotherhood between Kyle Reese and John Connor. We'd see their comradeship. Comrade? Okay. We'd see their brotherhood that they form together, their friendship that they form. Then we'd get to the point in the movie and things would be pretty much the same beat by beat. We'd see Kyle Reese step up, go into the machine, but when he's just about to go into the machine, the Matt Smith Terminator goes up, changes his hand into liquid metal. Yes, liquid metal, not whatever he was. He's not Skynet, he's just another Terminator. He changes his hand into liquid metal and swipes, just about to kill John Connor. Kyle Reese yells, "No!" Then he gets teleported back in time before he can see what happens. He lands very badly, as we saw, and he runs for shelter. Meanwhile, the Terminator, Arnie, not the old one, the new one, again, the same beats play out as it did in the movie, and Arnold Schwarzenegger confronts him. Now, Sarah Connor is not with Arnold Schwarzenegger at this moment. Why would the Terminator need backup? Why would Arnie need backup when she could have just given him the high-powered shotgun that killed the original Arnie? Why would you be in a sniper position waiting for that moment? Why didn't you just give it to Arnie and Arnie just shoot him in the chest when he turns around? It makes no sense. I know you wanted the fan service. You don't have to sacrifice all logic for fan service. You could have still made it an entertaining fight. Anyway, whatever. So it's just Arnie by himself taking out the Terminator because Kyle Reese and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I thought anyway, landed at the exact same time in the Terminator 1. So Kyle Reese is running through the stores like we saw, and then Sarah Connor comes in, again, same kind of beats play out. She shoots the Terminator, he gets in, J.K. Simmons sees them and they drive off. So then what we get is, because Arnie isn't with Sarah Connor, we don't get that whole weird, oh shit, it's the Terminator, bang, shoot him, whatever. No, we don't get that. Why would she introduce him to the Terminators that he's been fighting all his life? Why would she do that? That's the stupidest thing in the world. She knows this guy now. Arnie has told her all about him. Why would she do this? Why would she bring Terminator when she knows that he's just gonna get really scared and pissed off by that? She tells Kyle Reese everything. She tells Kyle Reese about how Arnie has come back, Arnie has helped her through her life, and he starts to grasp it. At first he's like, what are you doing? But he starts to grasp it. She pulls up to the spot where Arnie is waiting, and Kyle Reese gets out to meet Arnie, and then suddenly Arnie pulls out his shotgun and shoots Kyle Reese in the arm. Kyle Reese falls down, and then Sarah Connor's going like, what are you doing? And then Arnie reloads to shoot again, and she steps in his way. And then he's pointing the gun at her, and he goes, "I must terminate Kyle Reese." And we're like, oh my god, Arnold Schwarzenegger's a bad guy this time. See, it's like what we did in Terminator 2, when we found out for the first time that Arnie was actually the good guy. Instead, this time, he is the bad guy. And what Skynet has done is they have programmed Arnold Schwarzenegger not to kill Sarah Connor, but to kill Kyle Reese. Because they know if Kyle Reese makes love to Sarah Connor, then John Connor is created. So anyway, Kyle Reese is now the target. And Arnie does not want to kill Sarah Connor. He has grown a bond with this girl, like he bonded with John Connor in Terminator 2. They drive off, and eventually there's this huge cop chase, and eventually they get arrested by the cops. Arnie disappears somewhere, and John Connor arrives, again, like the movie. And again, this wouldn't be spoiled in the trailer, because why would you spoil something that's so important? Anyway, then they ask him all the questions like they did, and he tells them the same answers. And he's like, oh, okay, well, he must be John Connor. And Kyle Reese goes, how are you still alive? How can you be still alive? I saw you nearly get your neck chopped off when I was in the future. And he's like, well, we destroyed that robot pretty easily. Come on, give us some credit. And I traveled back in time to help you. There's something off about him. So they're like, so what are we going to do now? And he's like, we're going to go stop the Skynet because we're heroes. So they're going into the car park. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's been walking around the police station this whole time, turns the corner and sees Kyle Reese. He aims his gun towards Kyle Reese, but then he slowly turns it towards John Connor. What? He just shot John Connor. Now there's no hope for the resistance. He just killed John Connor. Then we find out that it is actually the liquid metal Terminator bot. They've just updated the same formula that they had with the T-1000s. These T-1000s, though, when they touch people, they get their memory. Then we get, again, the same kind of thing. They go up to the helicopter, they fly away, and there's two Terminators chasing them. So while Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to kill Kyle Reese, he's also trying to protect Sarah Connor. So while they're running from Arnold Schwarzenegger, they do find downtime. And we see the remorse of Sarah Connor. This is the person who's raised her all her life and has betrayed her in the worst way possible. Kyle Reese comforts her, and it leads to what I can only say as Kyle Reese getting in. And we see that they're both broken by this. They've both been betrayed. They're all alone. Both of them are alone in this whole situation. Meanwhile, Arnold is hunting him down, but we see that he is having conflicted feelings. Now, some people might not like this. They're like, oh, don't give the Terminator emotions. But if you hadn't noticed, that's what they've been doing for the past few movies. The new Matt Smith robot, let's call him T-2000. T-2000 goes down and infects one of the guys working for Skynet. So remember, now he's got all that guy's memory. So what he does is he immediately starts work on a time machine. He immediately starts making T-2000s. Because what they're going to do, what his master plan is that obviously kill Sarah Connor, obviously do all that, but this is the time when Skynet is not getting attacked by anyone, no one knows about it, no one suspects it. So they're gonna still do that thing where they take over the world, but what happens if they took it over 20 years early? Hey, how about they took it over 1,000 years early when there was no one to stop them? The dinosaurs wouldn't have done it. Jesus, no one would have done it. So what they're going to do, what they're planning to do, is they're planning to just jump all the way back in time before any people existed and just take it over that way. So that's what he starts work on immediately. So the T-2000 isn't limited like the T-1000 is. It doesn't need an equal mass or whatever to become something else, to become something different. So it could be a truck if it needs to be. It can be a packet of cigarettes. It can be absolutely anything. So this makes the possibilities for it completely endless. Then they find out, oh shit, he's creating a time machine. And Kyle Reese is like, wait a second, if he's creating a time machine, I can go forward in time and stop John Connor from dying / being infected by this thing. Sarah Connor goes, okay, that sounds good to me, but then you're gonna have to leave. And he goes, yeah, I know, but I'll be back. We get to the Skynet base thing. There's another fight scene, and they get inside. They get to the time travel machine, and Kyle Reese goes into it. He teleports to just before he teleports away. The future Kyle Reese teleports away before the past Kyle Reese shoots the robot in the head, stopping John Connor, the real John Connor, from getting killed. if that makes any sense. So the humans attack the T-2000 and destroy it. Kyle Reese explains the whole situation to John Connor and explains why he needs to use the time travel device again to go back and be with Sarah Connor. And to his surprise, John Connor understands this. He privately sends Kyle Reese off, but what they don't notice is that attached to the back of John Connor's hand is a small glob. Yes, the T-2000 has survived, and because it can be something as small as a pack of cigarettes, it can form a whole body from one single blob. So it sucks the memory out of John Connor because it's touching him, and just as the time machine spins up, it leaps from John Connor's hand into the time machine, pushing Kyle Reese out of it. Kyle Reese falls to the ground. He's been mortally wounded because he's been pushed out of this energy field, essentially. And the time travel device is also broken. And as soon as the Terminator disappears, it blows up. John Connor runs to Kyle Reese's aid, only to watch him die in his hands. Now this may be really confusing to some people, but look at it as a circle. Before Kyle Reese goes back in time, he witnesses the T-2000 try and kill John Connor. As he goes around, he meets Sarah Connor, he goes back to the future, finds the robot, thinks he destroys it, but in the end, just allows it to escape. Unlike the movie we got, this doesn't screw up the timeline. We have the same events happen as Terminator 1. John Connor is still created, Kyle Reese still dies, and both Terminators still get destroyed. Back in present day where Sarah Connor is, Arnold Schwarzenegger finds her. He asks her where Kyle Reese is, and she tells him he's gone into the future, and that he can't find him anymore. Arnold attacks Sarah Connor, and then a T-2000 steps back into the fray. They push Sarah Connor back. She's underneath the acid rain pit thing that they had in the movie. And then we get his whole turn back to good guy stage. You know, you've seen it in movies, but this could actually work because he has been living with Sarah Connor for ages. And she's changed his brain thing, so he can learn now. So he learns, essentially, not to take orders. He grabs the T-2000 and holds it up as Sarah Connor shoots the acid rain things. All the acid rain drops down, destroying both the T-2000 and the Terminator. She watches in horror, sadness, and relief as the Terminators are melted down to nothingness. With the laboratory pretty much destroyed by the fighting and nowhere left to go, she walks out and promises that she'll wait for Kyle Reese to return, which we know he never will. So this is what the movie should have been. I mean, it would have been complicated as hell, and some people wouldn't get it at all, but this could have made it so good, and it would have had that tragic element that Terminator 2 and 1 had, and if they combined it with really awesome fight scenes, good characters, and a stronger development between Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor's relationship, then this could really work, and it could be completely mind-blowing. So there you go. That is my Terminator What It Should Be video. I'm gonna try and make a how Star Wars Episode 1 should have done, because no one's ever done that before. Anyway, see you, Swaggets.